Hey, people, how are you? It is Saturday, October 8th. It's about 3 in the afternoon. I welcome you to my channel and thank you for joining me. Let's see. Truth seekers, justice seekers, all those true crime, right? I think a lot of people used to make fun of true crime aficionados, and more people are confessing that that's a passion. And I think it's getting recognized more for the healthy side of it, of wanting the truth and wanting justice. So that's a nice little cultural shift that I feel like I'm seeing. Let me know in the comments if you feel like you're seeing it too. So I'm feeling really rushed because I tried to make this tape a little bit earlier and it didn't work. So, as you know, for me, the lighting is a huge issue. And at, 3 in the afternoon is not a good time to be, for me to be finding the right lighting to be making a tape. But I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. I thought about doing it live, but I'm recording and then I'll put it up as quickly as I can. It's just a little bit after 3. Like I said, I wanted to focus on not the videotape of maybe a car going into a body of water. I'm so sick of that. I'm so sick of that. But I did want to recommend to you a really good channel, CNY Family, who last night had a 2-hour live breaking down her proof of how that videotape is not what it seems it is. So I'm going to send you over there for that. And what gives me proof that she's really good is that the person who put that tape out was actually in her chat. So I don't know. These trolls, why do they care what anybody thinks about the passing of Kylie Rodney? Why are they trying to control that? What difference does it make to them? Oh my goodness. I think we're onto something. Mountain Girl 212 made a video a couple weeks ago that she was shutting down her channel because she'd been threatened. And she didn't say where these threats were coming from or anything specific about them, but the timing is always pertinent with anything. I'll just leave it right there. I'm going to jump right into this. SF Investigates had claimed a couple weeks ago on the circuit of YouTube channels that he knew that Kylie had bought 2 gallons of gas when she went into that convenience store where the last proof of life footage and the screenshot came from. And I found it really offensive that he had to state that she bought 2 gallons worth of gas. My opinion of that, and everything I say is my opinion only, sheerly speculation for educational, entertainment purposes, and nothing else really. So it felt to me like he was trying to make sure everybody knew she was broke. Money's a huge issue in Northern California, in Tahoe, where everybody's a millionaire and a billionaire, except you, right? People just want to keep up with the Joneses, and times are tight. That community of Truckee survives off of the snow season. So this is always a tight time of year for them. They're just about to get into their snow season. And then with COVID, these last couple of years have been grueling. And then on top of that, marijuana getting legalized in other states has really messed with their economy because Northern California used to be the go-to, right? So they're getting it from all angles. And if she had bought $20 worth of gas or 8 gallons or 20 gallons, would he have even bothered mentioning how much gas she bought? the reason I find that so offensive is because people try to act like being broke is a crime in and of itself, or that you don't deserve any respect when you're broke. And it seems that Kylie was probably broke if she was only putting 2 gallons of gas in her rig. And, her family's trying to sell the lodge, and, maybe they're strapped for cash too. I think a lot of people are these days, and there should not be shame with that. And there should not be disrespect with that either. We're all human. So it just really upset me that he was making such a point of that. It seemed like he was also trying to brag, like, oh, I know something nobody else knows. And, he knows a lot of things that nobody else knows, because he is like ground zero for the Kylie Rodney case. Why? Why is that guy front center? Who's paying him? What's his motive? Does he just do damage control for the town of Truckee whenever something comes up that's going to make them maybe look bad and maybe interfere with their reputation and, cashing in on tourism? Because right now we're at Saturday, October 8th. I didn't say the date, did I? About 3:10 in the afternoon. So November 3rd is when the Tahoe area is trying to get their ski slopes set for, so that people can actually ski on November 3rd. I don't know that they'll meet that deadline, and I find it really interesting that we've all been told that we'll get some kind of press conference by November 1st, and that just happens to be 2 days before tourist season is starting this year. So, or they hope that tourism will start up. And, no one's going to want to go to a community where they eat their young. Funny, not funny. I mean, nobody's going to want to go to a community where a beautiful, young, vibrant 16-year-old girl was snuffed out. I mean, if it was an accident, people aren't really going to care. And that's, I think, in my opinion, why they're trying to sell it as an accident. But also, nobody has to take the fall for an accident, right? Well, I think someone's going to have to take the fall for this, because it is abundantly clear that it's absolutely no accident. If it were an accident, don't you think we would have heard everybody's story about how they last saw Kylie and what happened and what they wish they would have done different? And, it's just not the information that's coming out. We're, first of all, getting very limited information from very limited numbers of people. So I want to go back to something that I mentioned in one of my 3 videos yesterday, which is the, Lake Time Living Lake Time put out a video, a short one, a couple days ago with a 911 call on August 18th, where this person is describing a vehicle like Kylie's near that location where she was allegedly last seen. And there's a couple of things. They state in the 911 call that there's something attached to the roof rack, so I'm curious what that something might be. But also, they say, the dispatcher says, 1S6 advises to hold off until 0700 hours for 1S2. So 1S6 and 1S2 are individuals that work for the Placer County Sheriff's Department. And the dispatcher is stating to wait 5 hours. This call came in at about 2 a.m. Wait 5 hours. That's really unusual. I want to know who 1S6 is. I want to know who 1S2 is. And I'd really like to know, why wait 5 hours when somebody's reporting a vehicle that looks like it could be the vehicle of a missing person that everyone said be on the lookout for? This case, I'm telling you. So let me jump right into something that Jagger posted not that long ago, where he made some jest, I think it was in jest anyway, about getting initiated into the Truckee Mafia. Haha, funny. Funny, not funny. There's truth to every joke, in my opinion. And it just makes me, it kind of takes me aback, makes me scratch my head. So that kind of segues into Kylie's granddad owning a public water company in that community for 30 years. And David Robinson, I think, her granddad? He owned the public water company for 30 years, and then he sold it and moved to Montana, ran a bed and breakfast there for a few years before he bought the 2 acres in Truckee, where he then built the Lost Trail Lodge for his daughter and granddaughter to live in. And Kylie was 7, we all know, when she moved in, and her mother and her stepfather, and then it sounds like a year later, roughly, she became a big sister. So there's a little brother in the picture too. So Kylie's granddad set up the mom to have a great place for her family and employment. And man, it's a beautiful lodge, and I would think very, very difficult to keep up with that kind of business. A lot of busyness. But anyway, my point in bringing up the public water company is that, you know, a couple of things. It's ironic or interesting that Kylie was then found in a reserve of water. Coincidence? Synchronicity? I don't know. Also, what do my notes say here? I wonder if when he got out of the business, or all those years that he was in it or coming back, I wonder if there were political issues and big beefs with people in town that had a lot of power. That's usually how those things go, even in a utopia where all conflicts will be resolved with the best interest of the community by the council. That is some weird, weird stuff. Oh, goodness. All right. One of the things that CNY said, I think she said it, maybe it was another channel. It's just so overwhelming trying to keep up right now. Somebody said that these cameras are not accessible now, that they are usually accessible every day of the year. You can log on and you can go right to where you want to go, and you can, navigate around. And that all of a sudden you're not able to do that. So I don't know. I don't know if that's accurate or not. If people want to try to do that, I'll probably try to do that and see. But it also makes me wonder about the cameras on the highways in the area, and if those have been accessed to verify when Kylie's car was last driving down those roads. Which roads and what day and who was driving. All that information should be in the discovery. So it's really unfortunate, I feel like, that I personally can't trust this law enforcement in that area at all to do what they're paid to do. If you haven't seen the affidavit from May 15th, 2022, I've brought it up many times, look at that affidavit. It should blow your mind. And to make it easier, my 4th video that I made is me reading that affidavit out loud for half an hour. And it sounds very dry and boring, but to me it's really fascinating, actually. And again, it just sets the whole stage and lays the foundation to this situation and where we're at now. So I just get the feeling that the law enforcement and the people of Truckee that are trying to control how people perceive the situation, I get the feeling of desperation. And especially right now, here we are, October 8th, and they're coming up on their deadline of November 1st, where they're supposed to have a press conference where they make the big reveal of what the cause of death was, when Kylie passed away, how long she was in the water, how long her car was in the water. all of that. So it just doesn't make any sense why the community of Truckee and why SF Investigates and other people are so invested in making Kylie's death appear a certain way. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I wanted to say that small towns, smaller communities, I've said it before, that they're easier to corrupt than big cities. There's just not as many checks and balances. Not saying that big cities are better, not saying that smaller communities are better. They both have pros and cons, of course. My point is simply that the Department of Justice, that is supposed to be the oversight for these things, and State Attorney General's office, that are also supposed to be oversight, that they really don't have time for the smaller towns. There's too many of them. So the smaller towns, the bylaws are written so that the smaller towns are self-governing. So if you've got your council on board and you've got all your other parties on board, nobody else has a say in the matter. So keep that in mind. And really, all we want to do is make the world a better place, right? I mean, that's my motivation anyway. And I think that's a lot of people's motivation. We want the world to be a better place for us. We want the world to be a better place for other people. And the things that we can do to make that happen sometimes feel very limited and overwhelming, especially when we see corruption. So I just wanted to take a moment to say, like I always say, take care of yourself, but taking care of your space, taking care of your surroundings. For instance, gardening. Gardening is a great way to relax, get exercise, make the world a better place, 1 square foot at a time. Also, just doing your own artwork, whether it's singing or dancing, painting, drawing, whatever it is. Self-expression is extremely important. Meditation, yoga, just finding your own peace and maintaining that and feeling whole. We can only do that for ourselves and those around us. So that I think should be our primary focus, and I'm hoping that me being on a soapbox doesn't bother anybody as much as it bothers me. But really, it's Saturday, it's the afternoon. Enjoy your family time, enjoy your free time if you're fortunate enough to have that. I know some people have to work on the weekends, so I just hope that everyone is able to take care of themselves, stay hydrated, eat well, fruits and vegetables, protein, do your exercise, get your rest, and just be kind to yourself, and let's get to the bottom of this mess for Kylie. Thank you. Have a great day.